Okay, so we are going to start with the problems of magnetism and matter. So first let us see the problems on the hypothetical model. So question number 1, two magnetic south poles are located 4 centimeters apart. So distance of separation between two south poles is given to us as 4 centimeter. If the poles of each magnet have strength of 8 ampere meter, so Qm pole strength is given to us 8 ampere meter, and are 20 centimeter apart, that is the distance between north pole and south pole, which we won't be using. Calculate the force exerted by one south pole on the other. So formula is going to be F is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi Qm1 Qm2, pole strength of the two poles between whom we are finding the force, upon r square. So this is going to be 10 raised to minus 7 into 8 because both the pole strength has a magnitude of 8 into 0.04 square. The answer would come as 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 newtons. Question number 2. Calculate the magnetic moment of a dipole of length 10 centimeter having a pole strength of 20 ampere meter. So pole strength is again given to us as 20 ampere meter, and the length of the dipole is given to us, so 2L is given to us as 10 centimeter. So formula will be M is equal to Qm into 2L. So Qm is 20 into 2L is, converting into meters, 0.1. So that is going to be 2 ampere meter square. Question number 3. A bar magnet of magnetic moment 5 ampere meter square. So magnetic moment is given to us as 5 ampere meter square. Has poles 20 centimeter apart. So 2L is 20 centimeter. Calculate the pole strength. So the same formula again. So M is equal to Qm into 2L. So in this case we need to find out the pole strength Qm. So M is given to us as 5 divided by 20 centimeter, that would be 0.2. It is going to be 25 ampere meter is going to be our pole strength. Question number 4. A steel wire of length L and magnetic moment M. So we have a steel wire. The length of the steel wire is L and the magnetic moment is M. Is bent into a semicircular arc. So the same one is bent into a semicircular arc. So basically the half of the circumference, that is pi r, is going to be equal to L. That is what is understood from here. Calculate its new magnetic moment. So magnetic moment over here is going to be Qm into L. The total length is given to us as L. Here the poles are going to be over here and here. So direct distance between the poles is going to be equal to 2 times the radius. The radius from here we know as L upon pi. So the new magnetic moment will be equal to Qm multiplied by the direct distance between them, that is 2r. So Qm multiplied by 2 into L upon pi. But Qm into L, so this Qm into L we know as the original M. So let's substitute it over there. So we'll get 2m upon pi is going to be your new magnetic moment. Let's proceed with question number 5. Calculate the force acting between two bar magnets of length 15 centimeter and pole strength 80 ampere meter, each when the separation between their north pole is 10 centimeter and between the south pole is 40 centimeter. So situation is something like this. There are two bar magnets. Okay, let's say this one south pole is S1, north pole is N1. This one's north pole is N2, south pole is S2. The length is given to us as 15 centimeters. The difference between their north pole is given to us as 10 centimeter. So this is 10 centimeter over here, this distance from here to here. And the distance between their south poles is 40 centimeter. It's quite obvious. It's going to be 40 centimeter. We need to find out the force acting between the two bar magnets. So if you see, if you consider each of the pair, so between N1 and N2 there will be a force of repulsion. Similarly, there will be force of repulsion between S1 and S2. Force of repulsion will be there. Between S1 and N2 there will be force of attraction, and between N1 and S2 again there will be force of attraction. So all these four forces we need to find out over here. So I'll just show you one. The rest of them you can do. So force of attraction between, let's find out N1 and S2. So that is going to be formula mu naught upon 4 pi Qm1 Qm2 upon r square. This is going to be 10 raised to minus 7 into the pole strength is given to us as 80. So 80 into 80 upon distance between N1 and S2. N1 and S2 is going to be 10 plus 50, that is 25 centimeters, that is 0.25 meters square. So once you solve this, you'll get the answer as 0.01024 newtons. This is going to be the force between N1 and S2. Similarly, you have to find out the force of attraction between N2 and S1. So everything is going to remain same, only the distance of separation would vary. So distance of separation between N2 and S1, again I think it will be the same thing, because distance of separation is also same in this case. So it's going to be 0.01024 newtons. Then you have to find out the force of repulsion between N1 and N2. Similarly, force of repulsion between S1 and S2. The formula is going to remain same, the distance would change. So force of repulsion between N1 and N2, the distance is going to be 10 centimeters, so 0.1. So that force you will get as 0.064 Newton, and this is going to be 0.004 Newton. So net force, okay, so total force net will be F1. If this is F1, this is, let's say, F2, this is F3, and this is F4. Then the net force is going to be, let's consider the attraction force as positive, then the repulsion force will be negative. So repulsive force will be negative, so you will get it as minus 0.048 newtons. So this negative sign is going to tell you that this force is going to be a repulsive force. Next, question number 6. A bar magnet has a pole strength of 4 ampere meter and the magnetic length is 2L is 8 centimeter. Find the magnetic field at a point on the axis at a distance of 6 centimeter from the center towards the north pole. So this is going to be north pole and south pole. So basically we have to find a point P on the axis of this dipole. which is 6 centimeter from the center of the dipole. This distance from here to here is 8 centimeter. Okay, and here is this point at which we have to find out the magnetic field. So what is the formula? So basically what you can do over here is find out the magnetic field due to north pole, find out the magnetic field due to south pole, and subtract one from the other. So main formula for magnetic field due to a pole strength is given by mu naught upon 4 pi qm upon r square. This is the formula for magnetic field. So magnetic field due to north pole would be 10 mu naught upon 4 pi will be 10 raised to minus 7. Qm is given to us as 4 divided by distance from the north pole is going to be, this is going to be from here to here, that is this is going to be half of the distance, that is 2, or directly you can take it as 6. So this is going to be 6 minus 2, that is 6 minus 4, because half is going to be 4. So 6 minus 4, so this distance is going to be 2 centimeter. That is distance between the point P and the north pole is going to be 2 centimeters. So this is going to be 0.02 square, converting into meters. This answer will come out to be 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. Again, find out the magnetic field due to south pole. Same formula, 4 upon, now distance this time is going to be 6 plus 4, that is going to be 10. So it is going to be 0.1 square. So this is going to be 4 into 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. So the net field B axial, it is the first field, okay, on the axial point will be B due to north pole minus B due to south pole. One minus the other because the magnetic fields will be opposite in direction. So one is plus, one is negative. The greater one you can take positive, the smaller one you can take negative. Minus 3 minus 4 into 10 raised to minus 5. This would come out as 9.6 into 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. This becomes the first part. In the second part, we need to find out the magnetic field at a point on the perpendicular bisector. So again I will draw a bar magnet. So this is my perpendicular bisector at a distance of 3 centimeter from the center. So distance from here to here is given to us as 3 centimeter. Half of this distance is going to be 4 centimeter, half of 8. This is your north pole, this is your south pole. Again we are going to find out the magnetic field due to north pole and south pole. So let's find out this distance, because we require direct distance between point P and the charge, or the pole strength in this case. So applying Pythagoras theorem, it is going to be, let's say this is R. So R square will be equal to 4 square plus 3 square. Okay, so from here you will get R is equal to 5 centimeter. Now let's find out the magnetic fields. So Bn, again the same formula, mu naught upon 4 pi, that is 10 raised to minus 7, into the pole strength, that is 4 divided by the distance square, so 0.05 square, because it is 5 centimeter. This one would come out as 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 4. This will be same as magnetic field due to south pole, because it is at the same distance. The distance is same. Okay, so if we consider that this is the magnetic field due to north pole and this is the magnetic field due to south pole, and the resultant would come out over here. This is going to be the resultant. So that resultant obviously is going to be 2 times Bn or Bs cos of theta, depending upon the derivation which we have done in electrostatics. Correct? This is going to be resolved into 2 components, a vertical component and a horizontal component. Similarly, the down component, the down magnetic field, that is magnetic field to south pole, will also be resolved. The vertical components will cancel out each other and the horizontal components will get added. So using this logic, so from this, supposing this is theta, so obviously this is also going to be theta over here. So if you want to find out cos of theta over here, so cos of theta value you can directly find out. So cos of theta is going to be adjacent, that is 4, upon the hypotenuse, that is 5. So B equatorial that is on the equatorial plane, is going to be 2 bn cos of theta. So 2 into bn is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 4, because this is, I hope you all know this, one will be bn cos theta, one will be bs cos theta. Since bn and bs are same, I have taken it as 2 times bn cos theta. The value of bn and bs are same, okay, into cos of theta is 4 upon 5. So after substitution and solving, you will get it as 0.256 into 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. This is going to be B equatorial. If you want to specify the directions of the magnetic field in this case, B axial, if you have seen that it has come positive, the total magnetic field has come positive, that means it is in the direction of the magnetic field of north pole. So basically it is going to be like this. B axial is going to be like this, in the direction of north pole's magnetic field. Okay, that is in the direction of dipole moment. Okay, you can say along M. But in this case, M will be like this, and the resultant magnetic field B equatorial will be opposite. So you can say that B equatorial is opposite to M. So this is the solution of your 6th question. Question 7. A magnetized needle of magnetic moment 4.8 into 10 raised to minus 2 joules per Tesla is placed at 30 degrees with a direction of uniform magnetic field of 3 into 10 raised to minus 2 Tesla. What is the torque acting on the magnet? So here we are going to use directly the torque formula. Tau is equal to mb sine of theta, where theta is the angle between the magnetic dipole moment and the magnetic field, which is directly given to us as 30 degrees. They have said magnetic moment is placed at 30 degrees with the direction of uniform magnetic field. The values are also given to us. So 4.8 into 10 raised to minus 2. Magnetic field is 3 into 10 raised to minus 2 sine of 30. That is going to be half. So if you substitute the values, you will get the answer as 7.2 into 10 raised to minus 4 joules. This is going to be your answer. 8th question. A short bar magnet of magnetic moment is given to us. Placed with its axis at 45 degrees to the uniform magnetic field, experiences a torque. Torque value is also given to us. Calculate the magnitude of magnetic field. So we are going to use the same formula. Tau is equal to mb sine of theta. So in this case, torque is provided 0.063. M is given as 0.9. B is not known to us. Sine of 45. That is, they have given the angle between the axes of the dipole, that is basically the direction of dipole moment, and magnetic field. The angle is 45. So here, from here, you'll get B as 0.099 Tesla. And the second question is, what orientation of bar magnet corresponds to stable equilibrium? So that is, this is the first part. The second part, the stable equilibrium, we know when theta is equal to 0 degrees. That is the angle. You have to specify, okay, what is the theta. Theta, which is the angle between the magnetic dipole moment and magnetic field, should be equal to 0 degrees. That is when it is going to be a stable equilibrium. That is going to be your answer. Question number 9. A planar loop of irregular shape encloses an area of 7.5 into 10 raised to minus 4 meters square and carries a current of 12 amperes. So area is given to us of a planar irregular shaped loop, that is 7.5 into 10 raised to minus 4 meters square. Current is given to us as 12 ampere and it is transversed in a clockwise direction. That means the magnetic area vector would be pointing inwards, away from the observer. Okay. What is the magnitude and direction of magnetic moment vector associated with the loop? So magnetic moment vector is given by I into A, area vector. So I is given to us as 12 and A is given to us as 7.5 10 raised to minus 4. Directly multiply, you will get the answer as 9 into 10 raised to minus 3 joules per Tesla you can put. Okay, and direction would be in the direction of area vector. So if this is your planar loop and direction in which you are traversing the loop is taken as clockwise, so take your right hand, curl your fingers in the direction in the clockwise direction. Okay, since the current is going clockwise direction, the thumb would be pointing towards the area vector and the magnetic dipole moment vector. So you will see that the thumb is pointing towards or away from the observer, into the plane, away from the observer. So that is the direction going to be for magnetic dipole moment. Okay, so direction is going to be normal to the plane of the loop, away from observer. Just curl your fingers in the clockwise direction. The thumb is going to give you the direction in which your magnetic dipole moment vector would go, or the area vector. Both will go in the same direction. Okay, use your right hand. Let's see question number 10 now. Two magnets of magnetic moment M and root 3M are joined to form a cross. Okay, so basically let's say this is my 1 bar magnet. Okay, having a magnetic moment of M. Let's say this is the magnetic moment of M, and there is one more bar magnet which is forming a cross, and this is making a cross. This is forming a cross. This is root 3M. The combination is suspended freely in uniform magnetic field. So in this combination is suspended freely in uniform magnetic field. In equilibrium position, the magnet of magnetic moment M, that means this one, the vertical magnet, okay, the vertical magnet makes an angle of theta with the field. So it is going to make an angle of theta. This is your magnetic field. It is going to make an angle of theta with the field. Find this angle theta. So since they have told us that it is in the equilibrium position, that means that the torque acting on this vertical bar magnet would be equal to the torque acting on the horizontal bar magnet. When both the torques are going to be equal, that is when the positioning of this cross, this system would be stable. It will be in equilibrium. That is when it is not going to move. When a torque acts on, supposing root 3M bar magnet, then it would move, or individually on the bar magnet having a moment of M, it will move. But if the torque on both of them become equal, that is when this entire system is going to be stable. It is not going to move. That is when we are going to say that it is in equilibrium. So in this situation, I can say that since the magnets are in equilibrium, since the magnets are in equilibrium, both the torques will be balanced. There are numerous ways in which you can solve this problem. This is one of them. So we can say that both the torques will be balanced. Okay. So now if I consider this vertical bar magnet, magnetic field is over here, angle is theta. So torque on this, supposing let's name it 1 and 2. So torque acting on 1 will be equal to the torque acting on 2. So torque acting on bar magnet 1 will be mb sine of theta. That is going to be m into b, magnetic dipole moment, multiplied by magnetic field, and the sine of angle between them will be equal to torque acting on bar magnet 2 will be, its magnetic moment is root 3m, magnetic field it is kept is same, it's the same field in which it is kept, b, and angle between them will be what? The angle between them, if you see, is forming a cross, right? So if this is theta, this is going to be 90 minus theta. So it is going to be sine of 90 minus theta. So this is going to be mb sine of theta is equal to root 3 mb sine of 90 minus theta would be cos of theta. So m will get cancelled, b will get cancelled. So you will see from here that sine theta upon cos theta is going to be equal to root 3. That is tan of theta is going to be equal to root 3. So theta is obviously going to be 60 degrees. So angle between the magnetic moment m and the magnetic field, okay, is going to be 60 degrees. 11th question says a magnetic dipole is under the influence of two magnetic fields inclined at an angle of 60 degrees. There are two magnetic fields, let's say B1 and B2, which are inclined at 60 degrees with each other, and one of the field has magnitude of 12 millitesla. So let's take B1 as 12 millitesla. And the magnetic dipole is under the influence of these two magnetic fields. If dipole comes to stable equilibrium at an angle of 15 with this field, so my dipole is somewhere over here like this, which comes in the stable equilibrium. Let's say this is the direction of m, dipole moment, and it makes an angle of 15 degrees with this particular given field. Then we have to calculate the magnitude of the second field. V2 we need to calculate over here. So I'll say that let B1 be equal to 12 millitesla, 12 into 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. So since they have told that dipole comes in equilibrium when it is with 15 degrees with B1, that means it is going to make an angle of 45 degrees with B2, because total has to be 60 over here. So again, since it is coming in equilibrium position, we can say that the torque acting on this dipole because of B1 will be equal to torque acting on this dipole because of B2. Okay, both the magnetic fields would apply equal and opposite torque. That is when this particular magnetic dipole is going to come to rest. It is going to come to stable equilibrium. So I can say that tau due to B1 will be equal to tau due to B2. Okay, so tau due to B1, how can I write? M B1 sine of theta. What is the theta between them? Theta between them is 50. And tau due to B2 is going to be m. That is, the magnetic dipole moment would remain same because it is only the one magnet over here, right? Same magnet. Into B2 sine of 45. So I need to find out B2. So B2 will be m is going to get cancelled. I'll directly cancel it over here. B1 sine of 15 divided by sine of 45. So B1 value is also given to us, 12 into 10 raised to minus 3. Sine of 15 value you can find out using log tables. 0.2588 you would get. Sine of 45 is 0.7071, and then you have to solve it to get the answer 4.4 into 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. This is going to be your solution to the 11th question. Okay, question number 12. A short bar magnet placed with its axis making an angle of 30 degrees with magnetic field of 0.16 Tesla experiences a torque of 0.032 joules. So torque is given to us, angle is given to us, and magnetic field in which it is kept is given to us. Estimate the magnetic moment of the magnet. So tau is equal to mb sine of theta. From here tau is given, b is given, theta is also given, m you have to find out. You will get m as 0.4 joules per Tesla. Second question is, if the magnet is free to rotate, which orientation would correspond to its stable equilibrium and unstable equilibrium? So as we know, stable equilibrium, it will be theta is equal to 0 would be stable equilibrium, and theta is equal to 180 degrees will be unstable equilibrium. what is the potential energy in the field in both the cases. Okay, so when it is in stable equilibrium, what will be the potential energy? We have seen the formula, U is equal to minus mp, assuming that the initial position is like this, that is m is like this and b is like this. This is the initial position. You get it to stable equilibrium, you are doing a negative work over here, that is minus mp. So substitute the values, it is going to be minus 0.4 into 0.16. Okay, that is b, and the value would come to minus 0.064 joules of work. When it is unstable equilibrium, the formula for potential energy stored is mb, which will be 0.064 joules positive. Okay, that is basically when you turn your dipole in this direction, making an angle of 180 between the magnetic field and the, it will be something like this. Your dipole magnetic movement will be like this and the magnetic field will be like this. So angle between them would be 180 degrees. This is unstable equilibrium. This is question number 12. Question number 13. A bar magnet of magnetic moment 10 raised to 4 joules per Tesla is free to rotate in a uniform magnetic field of 4 into 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. Magnetic moment is given to us, magnetic field is given to us in a horizontal plane. Find the work done in rotating the magnet slowly from a direction parallel to the magnetic field to the direction 60 degrees from the field. So basically initial position is like this, the magnetic field is going like this and magnetic movement are also going like this. Now magnetic field is going like this only, you have to rotate the magnet such that the magnetic movement is making an angle of 60 degrees. That means what is the potential energy stored or what is the work done in this process that we need to find out in rotating it from 0 degrees to 60 degrees. So how will we find out? We have to use the formula W is equal to minus mb cos of theta 2 minus theta 1. This is going to be minus, m is provided to us, that is 10 raised to minus 4. B is provided to us, that is 4 into 10 raised to minus 5. Cos of theta 2, the second angle is 60 degrees minus 0 degrees. So here we won't assume that the initial position is 90. This won't be assumed over here since we are given the initial and the final positions. You have to substitute in this formula. If the final position only is given, then you have to assume that the initial angle is 90 degrees. The case is something like this. That is, the magnetic movement is perpendicular to magnetic field. This has to be assumed. Okay, so in this case the answer would come as 0.2 joules. This much amount of work will be done. Let's move on to question number 16. A current of 7 ampere is flowing through a plain circular coil of radius 1 centimeter having 100 turns placed in a uniform magnetic field of 0.2 Tesla. So current is given to us as 7 ampere, radius is 1 centimeter, number of turns are 100 and uniform magnetic field is 0.2 Tesla. If the coil is free to rotate, what orientation would correspond to stable and unstable equilibrium, and calculate the potential energy in each of the case. So stable equilibrium, theta should be 0, unstable equilibrium, theta should be 180. But here if you see, we are not given m to find out the potential energy because u will be equal to minus mb and plus mb. So to find out m, we are going to make use of I, R and N. So m will be equal to n into I into A. This is the formula. So n is 1000, I is 100 into 7 into A, that is area. It is a circular coil. So area will be pi r square. Okay, so r will be 0.01 square. This is going to be your m. So now you can find out in stable equilibrium your potential energy will be minus mb. It is going to be minus m will be this value which you get over here, that is 100 into 7 pi into 0.01 square into B is going to be 0.2. This is going to give you the answer as minus 0.44 joules. And similarly for unstable equilibrium, the formula will be U will be equal to positive Nb. So that is going to be 0.44 joules. This is going to be your answer to 16th one. Coming to the 17th question. A closely wound solenoid of 2000 turns and cross section of 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter square carrying a current of 4 ampere is suspended through its center, allowing it to turn in horizontal plane. What is the magnetic moment associated with the solenoid? So magnetic moment formula is again M is equal to N into I into A, that is going to be 2000 into current is given to us as 4 into area is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 4 into current is 4. This would be 1.28 ampere meter square is going to be your magnetic dipole moment. Second question is, calculate the force and torque acting on the solenoid if the horizontal uniform magnetic field of 75 millitesla is set up at an angle of 30 degrees with the solenoid axis. So here the force is obviously going to be equal to 0. The net force is it's a couple, so equal and opposite force act on a dipole. So we know that the net force on a dipole is always 0. Coming to the torque will be given by mb sine of theta. So m is given to us as m we already found out as 1.28, b is given to us as 75 millitesla, so 75 to 10 raised to minus 3 into sine of angle between the axes of a solenoid. So basically if this is your solenoid, this is going to be your axis. So angle between this axis of the solenoid and the magnetic field is set up like this. Magnetic field is set up like this, is given to us as 30 degrees. So that is what we want, angle between M and B. So obviously since solenoid is like this, the magnetic movement is definitely going to be perpendicular to the cross sectional area, okay, of this particular solenoid. So here you will get the answer as 0.048 joules will be your torque acting on the solenoid. Okay, 19th question. A closely wound solenoid of 1000 turns. So N is given to us as 1000. And cross sectional area 2 into 10 raised to minus 4 meters square. Carrying a current of 2 ampere is placed with its axis at 30 degrees with the direction of uniform magnetic field. So theta is given to us as 30 degrees and magnetic field is 0.16 Tesla. Calculate the torque experienced by the solenoid due to the field. So tau will be equal to mb sine of theta. So m is not given to us. So NIAB sine of theta. This formula you can use. So n is 1000, I is 2, A is 2 into 10 raised to minus 4 into B is 0.16 sine of 30 degrees. So if you solve this, we get the answer as 0.032 joules. The second question, so 19th one. If the solenoid is free to turn about the vertical direction, specify the orientation of stable and unstable equilibrium. 0 degrees and 180 degrees will be the orientations. What is the amount of work required to displace the solenoid from stable to unstable equilibrium? That is, it has to go from theta it is equal to 0 degrees to theta is equal to 180 degrees, from stable to unstable. So work done will be minus mb cos of cos of theta 2 minus theta 1. So minus into 1000 into 2 into 2 into 10 raised to minus 4 into 0.16 cos of final angle is 180 degrees minus initial angle is 0 degrees. So this is cos of 180 is going to be minus 1 and cos of 0 is also is 1. So minus 1 will become minus 2. So this entire thing will be multiplied by minus 2. So this is going to be 0.128 joules of work will be done. So work done to displace the solenoid from stable to unstable orientation is going to be 0.128 joules. Okay, let's proceed with 20th problem. So 20th problem says the ratio of horizontal to the resultant magnetic field of earth at a given place is 1 upon root 2. Calculate the dip angle at that place. So these problems are based on earth's magnetism. So here the ratio of the horizontal component to the resultant magnetic field is given to us as 1 upon root 2 and angle of dip has to be found out. So angle of dip is the angle between the horizontal component and the resultant magnetic field. This is the angle of dip which is denoted by I. Here we have vertical component. So if we take this triangle, I have BH, that means I have this side, and I have B, that means I have this hypotenuse. Right now, so which of the ratio you will consider over here? You will see that if you use cos of I, it will be the adjacent upon hypotenuse. So cos of I will choose. So that is given to us as 1 upon root 2 is cos of I. So I will be cos inverse of 1 upon root 2. That is going to be 45 degrees. So your angle of dip is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, moving on to question number 21. The declination at a place is 15 degrees west of north. So let me draw the directions first. This is north, south, east and west. So the declination is 15 degrees west of north. So west of north is this side. So declination is over here. That means the angle between geographical axis and the magnetic axis is 15 degrees, which is lying at 15 degrees on the west of north. In which direction should the ship be steered so that it reaches the place due east? So ship has to reach in the east. So if the ship is going according to the north, this is your geographic north, this is your magnetic north. This is your magnetic north, or rather let's put magnetic as suffix, and this is your geographic north. So your ship is going in this direction right now. So to go to actual east, how the ship or how much the ship should be steered? So if you see, this is 15 and this is 90 degrees. So total angle will be what over here? The total angle will be 105. That is 90 plus 15. That is going to be 105 degrees. So the ship has to be steered with 105 degrees. Okay, so that it goes to the geographical east. That is what our question was. Okay, in which direction should a ship be steered so that it reaches the place due east? So the ship has to be steered 105 degrees, okay, towards the east. This would be your answer. Question number 22. Find the angle of dip at a place where horizontal and vertical component of Earth's magnetic field are equal. So you have to find out the magnetic angle of dip at a place. So angle of dip formula is given in terms of vertical and horizontal component as tan inverse of the vertical component of magnetic field to the horizontal component of magnetic field. This is our formula. So they said that at that point both are same. So it is equal to 1. So tan inverse of 1 will be 45 degrees. So at a place where horizontal and vertical components of the Earth's magnetic field is equal, at that point the angle of dip would be 45 degrees. Next, question number 23. The horizontal and vertical component of Earth's magnetic field are 0.22 Gauss and 0.38 Gauss respectively. Calculate the angle of dip and resultant intensity of Earth's field. So angle of dip formula, again the same formula, tan inverse of BV upon BH. Tan inverse of BV upon BH. This is going to be tan inverse of 0.38 divided by 0.22. So this is going to come to tan inverse of 1.73. That would be, I will be 60 degrees. And resultant magnetic field, as we know, this is your BH, this is your BV. Resultant magnetic field is over here, so you can use triangle law of vector addition over here. So magnitude of B from here is going to be B is equal to normal vector, so BH square plus BV square. When two vectors are perpendicular to each other, the magnitude of resultant is given by root of the sum of squares of the two components of it, right? So using this logic, this is going to be root of 0.38 square plus 0.22 square. Okay, so this is going to be 0.43 Gauss is going to be your magnitude of resultant magnetic field. Question number 24. What will be the value of vertical component and total intensity of Earth's magnetic field at a place where dip is 60 degrees and horizontal field of a component is 0.3 Gauss? So here dip is given to us, that is tan of 60 is equal to BV is not given to us, BH is given to us as 0.3. So from here you will see that BV would come out as 0.52 Gauss. Total intensity of magnetic field will be root of BV square, that is 0.52 square, plus BH square, that is 0.3 square. So once you find out the answer, it will come as 0.6 Gauss. So this is going to be the answer to 24th one. So we will stop here for today. We'll continue with the next problems, the remaining problems in the next class.